To every hunter, every sports shooter, every collector, every responsible firearms owner who understands discipline, safety, and the weight of responsibility, this is a message to every Canadian who still believes in this country. For too long, we've been isolated, divided, told to sit down, stay quiet, and trust institutions that have failed us again and again. Those days are over. I'm asking for Canadians who care about this country, truly care, to stand shoulder to shoulder with me. Not as a militia, not as an armed faction, but as a peaceful, organized, unbreakable community dedicated to protecting the rights and freedoms that built this nation. A national movement, not to fight with force, but to fight with unity, coordination, and democratic pressure. Because when citizens stand together, governments listen. And our first fight, the line we cannot allow to be crossed, is the political fight against forced disarmament. Bill C-21 must be repealed. Not negotiated, not amended, repealed. They're pushing ahead, despite failure after province after province, and community after community saying that they will not participate. They're pushing forward. Disarming responsible, vetted, law-abiding Canadians does nothing to stop crime. It does nothing to protect communities. It does nothing to make this country safer. Purely the opposite. All it does is weaken the very people who have upheld safety, training, and responsibility for generations. You don't disarm your citizens when the world is at war. We refuse to be scapegoats. We refuse to be political props. We refuse to be stripped of our rights under the illusion of safety. This is a peaceful stand, a democratic stand, a civil stand, but it is a stand. Let's look at this national embarrassment. If anyone still doubts how reckless and unserious this government has become, look no further than the Carney gun buyback pilot program. A test run so catastrophically mismanaged it would be funny if taxpayers weren't the ones paying for it. The pilot collected 25 guns. Not 25,000, not 2,500, 25. From 16 people. Not all of those guns were even on the prohibited list. For the record, this program is only offered to law-abiding citizens, not criminals. The government spent $300,000 administering this pilot. That's $6,000 per firearm. $6,000 for guns that, in many cases, were worth a few $100. If this is how the program performs at a tiny scale, with full attention, full resources, and full political pressure, imagine what happens when they try to scale it nationwide. They're doing it right now. And let's have a look at the math they don't want you to do. The government claims there are around 150,000 prohibited firearms in Canada, but everyone who actually knows the firearms community knows that number is a fantasy. Let's talk about one rifle, the SKS. The SKS is one of the most imported rifles in Canadian history. Sold for decades, sold everywhere, sold cheap, sold in bulk, never registered. We know they're coming for this gun. There are likely over 1 million SKS rifles in Canada alone, easily. And that's before you even count the endless AR-15 variants, a lot of them 22, these non-restricted firearms that became prohibited overnight. So let's run the numbers the government refuses to say out loud. If even 2 million prohibited firearms exist, a realistic estimate, and the pilot program costs $6,000 per gun, then a full buyback would cost about $12 billion. That's 6,000 times 2 million. And this is conservative. They're not giving people $6,000, by the way. This is administrative costs and the absolute gong show that happens in between. $12 billion. $12 billion to confiscate property from licensed, vetted, background-checked Canadians, while illegal guns continue to flow across the border and violent crime continues to rise. It's not public safety. This is political theater with a price tag big enough to cripple a generation. Canadian gun owners are 3 times less likely to commit a violent crime than the average Canadian. Enough is enough. Once we defend that line, our second fight is freedom of speech, because without it, we lose the ability to defend anything at all. Bills C2, C8, C9, this endless barrage of bills that threaten to silence dissent, censor criticism, and punish anyone who dares to speak out. This goes against everything Canadians fought for, everything our veterans bled for, everything this country was built on. If we lose the ability to speak, we lose the ability to resist. If we lose the ability to resist, we lose our country. Our third fight is democratic integrity, proportional representation. We were promised this, a system where every vote matters, where every voice counts, where no party can rule with a minority of support and a majority of power. We need election reform, and we need a foreign registry, also promised, with actual accountability, like we were promised. Now, our country has been compromised. It's easy to see, and time is running out to fix it. We're not calling for violence. We're not calling for conflict. We're calling for unity, for courage, for presence, for Canadians to stand together as one peaceful force that refuses to be ignored. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And right now, Canada needs its warriors, peaceful, principled, disciplined, to step forward. Never before have we had the ability to unite like we do today, online, across provinces, across communities, across every walk of life. And that ability is exactly what they're trying to take away. They're scared of it. This is the moment. This is the line in the sand. This is the call. If you believe in your rights, if you believe in free speech, if you believe in democracy, if you believe in Canada, then stand with me. Stand with the 2.2 million legal gun owners in this country. Join the movement, join the conversation, join the community. Videos like these are being heavily censored and often buried. For now, like, subscribe, and comment. The first step in taking back your voice is using it. And before anybody tries to twist this into something it's not, let me make one thing absolutely clear. I make $0 from this. No ad revenue, no sponsorships, no monetization, nothing. I turn off the ads on purpose because this isn't content. This isn't a brand. This isn't a hustle for clicks or a strategy for growth. A call to every Canadian who still believes this country is worth fighting for, peacefully, democratically, and unapologetically. If I cared about the money, I'd keep my mouth shut. I'd play it safe. I'd chase the views and not the truth. But this movement is more important than money. It's more important than comfort, more important than staying silent to protect a channel or a career. Because what's happening right now in this country, the erosion of rights, the censorship, the forced disarmament, the political overreach, it's bigger than any one person, any one platform, any one paycheck. You don't cash in on a call for Canadians to wake up and stand together. You speak because you have to, because staying silent would be betrayal of everything you believe in. Because if you don't say it now, you may not get a chance to say it later. This movement isn't about money. It's about responsibility. It's about duty. It's about refusing to look the other way while the country you love slips even further into a place you no longer recognize. So yes, I make nothing from this, and that's exactly how it should be. Because the truth should never be behind a paywall, and a message this important should never be for sale.